So what I want to go over with you first is, what is a strategy? Now, everyone talks about, you've got a social media strategy. I'm going to execute my strategy, but few people actually talk about what it is and what the parts to it are. Here at Social Talk Live, we've identified 4 sections or 4 parts of a social media strategy just to help you give an idea of what you should be focusing on and what you should be doing. And I'm going to go over those now. The first thing we do before we outline any strategy is determine kind of a unifying theme or an overarching message, so to speak. What this does is it ties the entire campaign together. So every interaction you have on every platform gives you the sense that you're dealing with the same brand. There needs to be some sort of consistency to the way you speak and the way you present your message on each platform. So an overarching theme could be something internal, driven by you and your company's values, or it could even be something like a marketing message, like a McDonald's or a Burger King would use, "I'm loving it," or "have it your way." Once you have your overarching theme put together or your unifying message, then you can move on to the next step, which is creating platform-specific tactics. Now, this is so important because every platform on social media has its own culture because it's drawn a certain audience to interact in a certain way. I'll give you an example. On Twitter, people are used to reading text. Now, I know Twitter's updated their interface to be more friendly to media, but the culture of Twitter is still text-based. So if you have something like a blog post, it's really meant to shine on a platform like Twitter. Now, compare that to Facebook, where from day one, the platform has been about sharing media in terms of pictures and video. So a lot of times you see brands sharing blog posts or text-related articles that don't really perform as well in terms of interaction and engagement as their video or picture media does. And there's a reason for that. It's because the culture on Facebook is catered to video and picture, and the culture on Twitter is catered toward text, just at a very basic level. Of course, you're going to find exceptions, but we're talking about the platform as a whole here. The rule of thumb is, if you perform with the culture, you have an opportunity to win. If you perform against the culture, you're surely going to fail, or you're going to have a much tougher time going at it than you should. After you determine what the culture of your platforms are and how you're going to attack those platforms and what the tactics you're going to use are, you would move on to your daily tasks. Your daily tasks do really 3 things for you. 1, they build momentum. And in the social space, with so many marketers out there, you've got to continuously push that snowball up the hill to give it enough momentum to roll down and get your campaign going and get your influence growing and attract the type of people that you want to attract. The second thing is it shows consistency, because if you look at the blogosphere, I think there's something like, as of today, 134 million blogs, but only 7.5% of those are maintained regularly. So understand that on the internet, audiences are used to a fly-by-night company jumping in, saying a couple things, and then quitting. In fact, you've probably seen tons and tons of blogs, Facebook fan pages, and Twitter accounts completely abandoned after only a couple videos have been posted. And third, it helps you build systems, because if you have a set of daily tasks that you do, is similar to a retail store. So when I worked in retail, every day we had to clean certain things, we had to check certain inventory, and it gave the business owner a way to gauge if we were doing what we needed to do correctly. Having daily tasks builds systems in the same way on social media. Are you making the appropriate number of connections each day? Are you making the quality type of connections? How many conversations are you having? And there's tons and tons of ways that you can add metrics and do the 4th part of a social strategy, which is measure. Now, I know we're used to old media where we measure by audience size. So in the beginning, it was all about fans. It was all about followers. It was all about friends. How many can I get? How large can my audience be? But then we realized that it's actually influence over audience. Sure, I can have 50,000 people, but if none of them are listening to me, who really cares? So now we're looking at tools that measure influence, tools like Klout or Twitter Grader, which give you a quantitative number to measure the subjective influence you have over an audience. Now, these tools aren't perfect, but as of now, they're the best we have to measure these, soft metrics in the social space. And then finally, when I look at measurement, there's really, at the very least, 3 phases that you need to go through in a social campaign. First is, do they care? And this is the one that everyone forgets. People don't look to see if anyone cares that they're there. Why does anyone care that you've made this amazing product? Why does anyone care that you're an expert in this service? Once you cross that barrier, then you can go to things like pushing traffic or the will they go phase. Move them to a certain site, move them towards a certain squeeze page, move them to an opt-in form. And then finally, you have to measure a separate set of metrics to understand will they buy. Is your page converting? What's your bounce rate? How is your audience interacting on the page? Do you have tools there that allow them to share it with their friends and allow your page to reach a number of people in a short amount of time? So these are the 4 components: a unifying theme, platform-specific tactics, daily tasks, and measurement tools that we put into every single strategy here at Social Talk Live. I hope this has given you a little bit of a better idea of how to put this together and know that social media isn't all about setting up a profile and posting a whole bunch of junk.